Welcome back, friends. My name is Michael Yates. This is the Ridgeview Pod, where we try to cover everything hope, healing, and recovery related. One of the highlights of doing this is always having folks from out in the community spend some time with us. And today is my good fortune to have with me Rachel Baker and Kendrick Tate with the GameChangers. Welcome, guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Pleasure to be here.
Happy New Year. I think this may be the first pod of this year.
2023?
Yes,
Nice.
I think so.
What an honor.
Yeah.
We're so glad.
Yep. So, tell me a little bit about GameChangers, your roles. Rachel, let's start with you. Yeah. Well,
we are with the YWCA, which is a nonprofit in East Tennessee that serves women and their families who are leaving domestic violence situations. And the core principle and value of the Y is eliminating racism and also empowering women. And we obviously have a lot of services for those women. But what makes GameChangers a little different and unique is that it is actually serving young men, young boys. So it is the only gender-based violence prevention program in East Tennessee that is serving these middle school age boys. And we partner them with adult male mentors, Kendrick being one of them, and talk to them about really pertinent issues to the work that we do, like preventing domestic violence, breaking those cycles of violence, those generational cycles, healthy relationships, redefining healthy masculinity, all things around that, bystander intervention. So that's a little bit about the program. I'm the program coordinator.
Okay.
So do a lot of community outreach, partnership, and just managing the program on that level. But Kendrick is our senior mentor coordinator.
All right. Well, before I ask Kendrick to introduce himself, so geographically, what sort of area are you covering?
So GameChangers can operate in Knox and Anderson County.
Okay.
So, and we're doing really, really well, picking up a lot of speed in Knox County right now, but very eager to get connected and infiltrate into Anderson County and the Oak Ridge area as well. We don't currently have any sites in that county. And so came about you guys at the Anderson County CCR meeting and made a lot of really hopeful connections at that. And just, again, hoping to really spread out in this area as well.
Okay, cool. So Kendrick,
Yes.
well, tell me a little bit about yourself.
So, Kendrick Tate, what's unique about me is that I'm also a juvenile justice probation officer down at Knox County Juvenile Court. And so I've also, in the capacity of being the senior mentor coordinator for the GameChangers program at the YWCA. And so I kind of get to experience the best of both worlds, so to speak.
Yeah. So what's involved in becoming a mentor?
Yeah.
So basically we are seeking men who want to make a difference, not only to be a guiding light to our younger men who will eventually be older men. So we want to kind of set the path and teach them about and have uncomfortable conversations, because some of these conversations that are being had are in the locker room or on the school bus, and they're not in the proper context. So what we strive to do is get that conversation in the right path, so to speak. And what that means, just basically giving them the positive about healthy masculinity and what that looks like and what unhealthy masculinity looks like. And at the same time, being able to provide a space for our young men to learn how to protect women when they know they see something that is not right.
Yeah, no, how cool. Are there eligibility criteria for someone to become a mentor?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 18 and over, and we do background checks, obviously, just kind of standard procedures.
Yeah.
Is there like a curriculum of training that they go through to? Yeah,
and there's a few logistics, like Kendrick said, about 18 and older. We do background checks on, history in that regard. But I think the most important thing, which Kendrick can speak to more, is just having an open mind to, I think, reinventing this really just narrative, this stereotypical narrative of what it means to to be a real man and be willing to, like Kendrick said, have hard, vulnerable conversations and modeling your vulnerability, you know, as an adult male to these young men who are so malleable at this time. And so just a willingness to go in it at that perspective. But other than that, I mean, that's kind of who we're looking for.
If I'm watching this and let's say I am interested in becoming a mentor, how do I go about that? Do I reach out to the Y, to you?
Yes. So, well, 2 steps, I guess. You can, of course, submit an application online. YWCA GameChangers is our website and socials and all those things, and you'll find the links very easily available and boldly advertised in all those spaces, and pretty easy process, not too lengthy. You'll just fill out the application. That's the initial first step. But if anybody hears about us and wants to learn more, has questions, wants to be guided through that process, they can certainly reach out to me. My email is rbaker@ywcaknox.com, and I will sort of guide and set up those first steps. And then once we get through the sort of logistics, then I would pass that off to Kendrick or Paul, our mentor recruitment coordinator, who would then take it from there and go about their training, which you asked a little bit about, but these guys lead that mentor training.
Okay. So that makes sense. We'll put your link, your info stuff in the narrative.
Yeah,
but so is a mentor, are they matched up 1-to-1, or, I mean, how many are you mentoring at a time?
Yeah.
So most of those groups look like 5 to 7 boys, a little bit more. It can be a lot, but we try to keep the groups relatively small because we want to be able to include, like, to get everybody's opinions and give everybody a chance to speak during the groups. And so we try to match our mentors with like personalities. That's why we go through the whole interview process. Okay. That way we can see, hey, he may be a fit at this particular school or may not be a good fit. So we try to get like personalities. That way the mentors can kind of feed off one another, because you need that doing groups, because kids, they do realize, like, if you're here for the right reasons. And so we always want to make sure we empathize that to make sure that that's being done. So we got to do that on our end, just to make sure our mentors are, like I said, like-minded and just have an open mind as they continue to teach these kids this material. Yeah.
So let me maybe ask it from a different vantage point. If I'm a parent or a youth, and I think I would like to be mentored, how do you go about that? Do you reach out to a school counselor and say, I'm interested in tapping into this program, or do you contact GameChangers directly?
If you wanted to be a participant in the program, that depends if it's already in a place that you're already a part of, if that makes sense. So a lot of our programs operate within schools, for example, middle schools. Okay. But some of them also operate at community sites, after school programs, or other, community partners will host the program at their site. So if it's something like already operating at your school, that would be very easy to get plugged into. I know any school staff or counselors or principals would happily plug anybody interested in that into the program if it's already going. If it's not, we have a lot of kids, for example, who will take the bus to a certain after-school site. Our Phyllis Wheatley Center is our East Knoxville YWCA location, for example, and they host an after-school program. And, that we have a lot of schools that feed into that site, if that makes sense. So if it's not already somewhere you are, we can get you to somewhere it will be or is. Okay.
So here in Anderson County, are you just trying to get started in Anderson?
Yes.
Okay. So this is we are making the grand announcement right now.
Right now, history in real time. Yeah. Came across a lot more barriers getting into the Anderson County community. So, again, making some really exciting connections. I think even just last week at that meeting, we met so many people who have connections to the schools. Schools, again, are a very just organic place for Game Changers to thrive and function. So we would love to be in the local middle schools in this area, or again, we're reaching out to some organizations that host an after school program. That's also a very easy, natural place for it to work.
Yeah.
So just really trying to get connected in this community.
Okay, well, great. We'll do our part to try to spread the word, spread the good news.
Very much so.
So I can't help but wonder, and maybe this is an opportunity to tell a real life success story, but, you know, I would imagine there are more and more, there are young men, young children, but in particular men who are growing up in homes without a multitude of positive male role models.
Oh, for sure.
Kids that are being reared by their grandparents, by their aunts and uncles. So are you seeing a lot of that? Or is that where a lot of the matching is coming from?
Well, especially in terms of juvenile court, I got the unique experience to be able to run a program, and and we filtered the kids from juvenile court. So obviously, juvenile court provides services, and one of which I can proudly say is Game Changers is the go-to program for a lot of our youth at juvenile court. And so to be able to spearhead that is a wonderful experience, because being able to mentor and also being a probation officer, like I said, you get to wear both hats, but a mentor is kind of like more hands-on, more personal. We get to guide these young men, especially the topics that I talked about earlier. So I know you mentioned success stories, and I have a plethora, but there's just one that I think about all the time. We had a young man complete our group through juvenile court, and it had been several years or whatever, and he said, "Mr. Tate, see me I think I was at the grocery store, ran across." He was like, "You still doing Game Changers?" "Oh, yeah, Game Changers. Hey, you can come anytime, that you want, because we always try to welcome our young men back. So the young men who are in the groups currently can see, like, this is a real thing. Like, this is happening. You can actually, any wars actually showed up for group, and we got this big thing. We play basketball. And so he actually was able to come in and tell his stories about, his time at Game Changers, and actually really took the time to tell the kids, like, this is an important program, and like, you should be proud to be a Game Changer. I still am, and I've been out of the program for several years now. So take it seriously, because it's a good thing, and you're going to learn a lot from the mentors teaching. So I could go on and on, but that's just one story that I can always go to and point out to show just how important this program truly is.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I mean, you can see I've been smiling the whole time you've been telling that story. That's to make an impression, a positive impression on someone who developmentally and maturationally is going through the firing adults from their life is a big deal.
It is.
So,
it is, without question.
That's really cool. Well, you brought up middle school several times. So is that sort of the target population where you want to? Okay. Absolutely.
And you can speak to this too, but I've had a lot of experience with young people from K through 12. And I know I said this earlier, but it's such a malleable, impressionable, critical time in their life, in any young person's life, but especially in the lives of these young men. It's still a time, I think, when they'll form a really unique connection with someone older than them. They're not too cool for school yet, but they're mature enough to step into these hard conversations and talk about things like dating violence and relationships and your impact as a man in your world, and how you can help women and empower women, as a man. And I think that that's just the critical, important time. And that's obviously been very thoughtfully designed to target that age group.
And one last question, then we'll have a little fun.
Sure.
Here. Not that this hasn't been fun.
Right.
You mentioned juvenile court several times. So, I mean, do referrals come from juvenile court? So we would need to maybe try to advocate to link you to juvenile court here in Anderson County.
No,
So-
yeah, we welcome that. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, very good. I'm glad you're hooked in with the coordinated community response group. That
We're
is a great
Grateful to
group.
be. Yeah.
Yeah, great group to be involved with. We'll need to connect you with the ASAP of Anderson, Kayla Simon, and
Yes.
her folks.
We got one of our most recent mentors, Murphy Caldwell, works for ASAP, and we met him at a CCR meeting.
Yes.
And so just, again, a lot of great connections coming that way.
Yeah, good. All right. Well, we like to give our audience a chance to maybe learn something just a little less professional about our guests. So if you'll humor me, I'm just going to ask you a couple questions. So let me start with you, Rachel. If a movie was made of your life, what genre would it be and who would play you?
Oh, gosh. Okay. I have thought about I don't know what that says about me, but I have thought about who would play me in a movie for quite some time. And it would either be Rachel McAdams or Gina Rodriguez. Two very different people, but my favorite actress, probably Gina. I'm a little bit more of a fan of her. And I love like mind sort of thriller, psychological things. I, again, don't know what that says about me as a person, but it would probably be something like that. I like to be on the edge of my seat. So I think that's a good time. It looks something like that.
So you've
sort of drama. There's got to be some drama.
You've given it some thought.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Kendrick is
just maybe a little. Just maybe a little.
You think?
You know.
Wow.
What about you, Kendrick?
I'm going action.
For sure.
And then I'm going to have to say,
Idris.
nah, no, not Idris. I would say Will Smith.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, Will Smith.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
We do Will Smith. Action movie, Will Smith. I could do some. Yeah, we could do something.
All right. Very good.
I see that.
Could do that.
What's the best decade of music?
I mean,
Oh, it is 90s.
2000s.
Oh, no.
early 2000s.
90s
2000
without question.
to like 2007.
Give me an example of the type of music you're talking about.
Paramore, young Britney Spears, NSYNC, their first 2 albums.
All right.
That's kind of where I'm
Kendrick?
at.
See, I'm about to show my age because
Yeah, go for it.
New Edition, Bobby Brown, Johnny Gill, Guy. Some of y'all don't know who I'm talking about, but some of y'all may. But Keith Sweat. I could go on down the line. Run DMC, LL Cool J.
All right. Well, I won't shock you with yeah. I mean, we're going way back.
Give
Like
us
your
one.
grandparents and I like the
come
same
on.
kind of music.
No. My dad also raised me on classic rock and like old Kenny Chesney and Tim McGraw from like 1995. So that's also a little bit where I go to. But
Yeah, no, I'm dead center on
The Rolling
Zeppelin, Stones, Who, Springsteen.
But those are
Right,
still relevant
Yeah.
and like doing well today. So
Iconic.
I know, classic.
All right. I am a classic. Yes. All right. Very good. Let me see. Just a couple more here. What is the thing you're most afraid of?
I'm a big scaredy cat. Like I'm afraid of a lot of things.
You don't strike me
know.
that way.
Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm a pretty anxious individual, so we don't have enough time for my list of fears. So
How about you,
I'm gonna let
Kendrick?
Kendrick take this one.
If I had to pick, I would say failing. But
Mm.
I know in failing there is still victory because we learn from our shortcomings.
Yeah.
So that builds character. I know I won't give a testimony, but just know through failure I've birthed a lot of my biggest successes. So
Growth.
There's an old adage about failing forward.
Yeah.
yes,
That's a
yes.
nice way to look at it. Okay, last one.
Hmm.
Dream vacation.
My husband and I got to go on a kid-free vacation last year to Europe, and it was probably my dream vacation.
Wow,
So it was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So I would probably go back to somewhere different. I loved it a lot, but
That's great,
Yeah.
especially with kids. Encourage you to always make the time and protect the time. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice.
I'm gonna have to split mine in half. I gotta go Hawaii, then I gotta go to Italy because I want the best of both worlds. I want the beauty of Hawaii, but I want the romance for my wife. I just got married like 2 weeks ago.
So. Whoa! Well, congratulations.
2 weeks ago.
Oh, last week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, don't try to mess me up.
No. Sorry.
So romance and
yes. Italy was gonna be mine. Yeah.
So
that, for sure.
That would be my dream. So I need to hit this line.
Do you hear that, Miss Tate? All right. Well, very good, man. It's been great to meet you guys.
Been a pleasure.
I look forward to seeing you at a future CCR meeting or out in the neighborhood.
Yes.
I hear maybe in the future we ought to have this guy, Paul Davis, on at some point.
Indeed.
Might be good. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you again. We'll get all the information out we can about Game Changers. Continue to change the game for these young men. We need that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
and
so much.
Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you spending time with us. Take good care, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.